Hello, I'm here today to go over today's assignment in science class, which is the cell city model. So as you know, the cell city model is going to be like an analogy, and you use an analogy in the real world to kind of compare it to something that it's like. We've been spending the past week or so on cells and cell organelles. So we're going to be comparing what we know about the function of those cell organelles to parts of the city, okay, to parts of the city, and kind of see how their functions or how their jobs are similar. So in this graphic, you can see a construction site, which typically can be found anywhere inside of a city that they're going to be doing repairs on that part of the city. You see a transport company. I a lot of times just think of them as kind of like the movers or just vehicles inside of the city that get from point A to point B. You have a power plant, which generates energy or electricity. You have a food producing plant, which is very similar to the power plant, but it's unique because it's actually producing or making food. You have a recycling and waste disposal plant. Again, thinking of waste or recycling it into new material. You have City Hall, which is kind of the hub of where all the important people are found inside of a town. The courts a lot of times are there. The mayor's office is there. So that's your city hall. Then you have storage tanks. And that storage can be for a variety of good things like food or water. And then lastly, you have a fence. A fence, it says warning, keep out. But that's kind of where security is, kind of letting you know that you can or you cannot proceed. So these are kind of models inside of a city. And kind of their function. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare these cell city locations or the city locations to parts of the cell. So let's do the first one together, which is typically the hardest one for students to grasp. So we have a construction site. As I mentioned before, it's kind of the area which can be found anywhere within a town or inside of a city. It could be a building, it could be a road construction, anywhere where they're making it better to run more smoothly. So this construction site, the organelle that it would be most likely in an actual cell would be the ribosomes. So you would put organelle, put ribosomes, and then you're going to write down the function of the ribosome. The job or the function of the ribosome, you would write the ribosomes are responsible for making proteins within a cell. Okay, so that one is going to be done for you. The next one, the transport company. Okay, so again, we mentioned before, transport company, it's kind of like the vehicles, they're traveling along the roads. That would be what of the cell in comparison? So that's kind of like, in this case, the endoplasmic reticulum of the cell. That transport company is going to be the superhighways to allow those ribosomes to be created and allow those ribosomes, or specifically the proteins, to be carried from point A to point B. So you would write down that function, okay, and so on and so forth. So that's going to be how you're going to be completing this activity. You might need to refer to your notes, which were posted, about a week ago. You might want to refer to another activity that we did last week that might be helpful. Or you could just ask your teacher. We can kind of walk you through, but you should have enough knowledge right now to kind of understand or comprehend which organelle with which respective job. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.